All right, there's too many people out there leaving money on the Social Security table. So we're going to talk about a few of those in my thumbnail. I said I'm going to talk about three. Okay, I'm going to talk about a whole bunch more. Um, Hope you don't mind. So people don't know what's available. They think of the Social Security Administration, they think of retirement and Social Security cards, and that's pretty much it. So a lot of people are missing benefits, and so we're going to go through several of those today. My regular viewers, my regular community here, this is also a live Q&A. Looks like we've got a bunch of our regulars here already. I'm going to talk about several of the ways people leave money on the table and just don't get that money they earned and they need in retirement or disability, whatever the case may be. And then I'm going to open it up to, as I usually do, open it up to questions. So if you got any questions about all things Social Security, retirement, survivor benefits, disability, Medicare, Medicaid, make sure you type it into chat and I'll get to as many as I possibly can. All right, let's quit the stalling. As you can see, the reason I'm able to do this is I've done this a few million times, helped millions of people out throughout the country with all things Social Security, retirement, survivors, and all the rest of it. Okay, so let's get right into it here. This is a live, as you can tell. All right, so I put a bunch of acronyms up there, and I'm going to go through these one by one. And I've also got my website that is just now completed. And I'm going to, because a lot of this material is rather deep, and we want to make sure that you have the information even after you leave here. So you go to my website, it's mygovexpert.com, mygovexpert.com. Okay. So the first thing we're going to go over is IEDS. My regular viewers know this. I harp on this all the time because there's just way, way too many people not getting these benefits. All right. So if you go into my website, mygovexpert.com, you click on this. The website is only about 3 or 4 days old. So if you see any grammatical errors or anything like that, just keep it to yourself. No, contact me. I've got a button down there. Share your thoughts, any feedback or anything like that. If you want to chip in a couple of dollars to help out the website, because it's all this information is free. If you want to subscribe, that's awesome too. But if not, oh well. Not making you subscribe or donate. It's all free to you. All right. So the family benefits, the IEDS. So there's many types of family benefits. You got spouse benefits, divorce spouse benefits, child and care benefits. And families can get Medicare, Medicaid, and all the rest of it. So I want to talk about independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. There are too many people out there that are divorced. They're at least 62 years old, and their ex is at least 62 years old, but their ex hasn't filed for benefits, and they think that they cannot get those benefits until their ex files for benefits, and that is 100% incorrect. And I have even put the Social Security reference on there because one of the problems is, I tell people about this all the time. They go down to the local Social Security office, and the Social Security office says, no, Dr. Ed doesn't know what he's talking about. He's an idiot. And usually that's left to my wife to say that. But anyway, and then they come back here and they said, Ed, there is no such thing as independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. My ex has to be filing for benefits. And I say, no, here's the reference. And then they go back down there and they get their money. So I've cut out the middleman, and I just put the reference right there on my new website. So you just click on the reference there and you print it off and you go down there and says, give me my money. Your ex doesn't have to be receiving benefits. So you have to file for benefits on your own record, had to be married with a person for 10 years. The only change on this is that you also had to be divorced for 2 years. The final divorce had to be for 2 years. So this is gets in there. So the divorce length, you have to be divorced from the ex-spouse for 2 years. And then how much money you can get. And so it goes into all the details on that. I'm still working on these top videos here. So this website is a work in progress. So anything you can do to help out, we'd appreciate it. Okay. What's next here? So that's and remember, don't watch these just for you to say, I don't care, I'm not divorced. As my regular community knows, the regular viewers know that, you watch these videos and you address your particular situation, but now once you know you're locked away, you're locked in, you're getting everything you're entitled to, everything you're eligible for, everything you paid into, everything you need, then you continue, I hope, watching these videos and checking out the website and say, hey, I have a cousin, I have an aunt, I have an uncle, I have this little old lady down the street that this might help. So please watch it for those people around you as well. Okay, the next one, WIB RIB. So a lot of people are missing this one and losing benefits. What is a WIB RIB? This is internal Social Security speak for what's called WIB, Widows Insurance Benefits. RIB is retirement insurance benefits. So it's when you switch from widow's benefits, surviving benefits, to retirement benefits. And so we're going to go back to the website here again. And so these are survivor benefits. There's different types of survivor benefits. You got regular surviving spouse, divorced spouses can get surviving benefits, children can get it, disabled adult children can get it. Guess what? This is something almost nobody knows. Parents can receive surviving benefits from an adult child that work if the parents were dependent on that child. Okay, so in terms of this, if you are receiving survivor benefits, here's a strategy that a lot of people do early on. You can start your survivor benefits as early as 60 years old. Okay. And when you get 62, then you can technically file for benefits on your own record, regular old retirement benefits. But some people go ahead and stay on the survivor benefits because when they stay on the survivor benefits, they allow their own benefits on their own record to continue to increase till their full retirement age or all the way to 70 to get those delayed retirement credits. The problem is then they forget about it. So they start their survivor benefits at 60, 62, 65, or whatever the case may be, and they don't touch their own, or they thought they filed on their own. And then 70 years comes up and they've actually got more money on their own record possibly. And they forget to call in Social Security to check. And technically the Social Security office, each 1,200 offices throughout the country, is supposed to send out a letter to those people that say, hey, by the way, the benefits on your own record are more. You have to go down there and file. That's not automatic. My office I ran the third busiest office in the country. In my office, we used to send those out like clockwork. But the problem is people don't get it. They ignore it. They think it's junk mail. They change your address. They didn't notify Social Security. So those people around you, next time you see the little old lady at the grocery store and says, hey, I know your husband passed away and you're getting survivor benefits, but you're 70 or even past 70. Did you ever check to see if you're entitled to more benefits on your own record? Oh, I never checked. Well, here's what you do. You call the 800 number, 800-772-1213, Social Security Administration, and you check. And they'll say, oh, no, you're getting the higher benefit right now, and at least you're good. Or they say, yeah, you should have filed 3, 4, 5 years ago. Unfortunately, you're going to lose all that money because they can only go back 6 months, except for extenuating circumstances. And then I'm covering the extenuating circumstances. This is an upcoming part of my website, the coming soon part, where I'm going to be talking about protective filing and all the rest of it. So, all right. Let's go back into another one here. AET versus MET. So this is another code. So when you go back in Social Security and you rattle off these codes, they're going to say, okay, this person, we can't pull the wool over this person's eyes. This person knows all the internal acronyms and everything. And so I guess we got to make sure we treat this person right because they've got connections somewhere. So it's always good to throw out these acronyms. So they don't take you lightly. So AET versus MET, annual earnings test versus the monthly earnings test. Okay, so when you file for benefits, again, I'll go back to my website here, and that way you've got a reference. So this is under the retirement tab here. And working and benefits. So I've even got a calculator here. You press the little calculator. This is the only calculator like this in the country. And it gives you kind of an idea when you should start your benefits. Because remember, if you start your benefits early, before your full retirement age, you're limited to the amount of money you can make. This year, it's to $23,400. But that's an annual earnings limit. If you make more than that and you still want to file, you can. So let's say it's July, and from January to June, you made $1 billion, and you're like, wow, that's over 23,000. So I guess I can't file this year. Incorrect. Then if you go over the annual for the year, the first year, you're going to start your benefits. If you go over the annual, then they can switch to the monthly earnings limit. And the monthly earnings limit is $1,950. So the first month you stay under $1,950, you can start your benefits. Social Security doesn't care what you made before then. So there's a lot of people out there that, given up many months of benefits because they say, well, I've already made over the annual, so I guess I have to wait till January. I've taken hundreds of thousands of Title II, the Social Security Act retirement claims. And the busiest time of the year is actually, November, December. People want to file so they can start their benefits in January. And invariably, I say, how come you wait? How come you didn't come in July? Well, I made too much. You could have started your benefits months early. Obviously, when you start your benefits early, they're reduced. Every month you take your benefits early from Social Security, they're reduced. But then again, you get that check. So, and there's another thing on my website. It gives you an idea when to start. So there's a calculator there. A lot of places charge you for this calculator. But here, thanks to y'all and our sponsors, by the way, which I'll pop up here in a little bit, that all these calculators are free. So you click in that and it gives you a little thing that says, hey, if you start your benefits at 62, you're gonna lose money once you hit 80. You should have started it at 70, but obviously there's a bunch of variables. So here's the people that kind of sponsor this chapter, Medicare. So, but all right, so that's completely free for you to use and share and all the rest of it. Okay, I'm going through these fast, and I used to feel bad about going through these so fast, but now that the website is up, you've got a go-to point. And remember, if you see anything wrong or I have on here clear guidance from a former insider. If I'm lying here and the information is not clear, like the socialsecurity.gov website, then call me on it, and then click down that little button and said, Ed, you're full of BS. I couldn't understand a word you wrote. And let me know about it, and I'll rewrite it. No problem. All right. Or maybe put a calculator up there to make things easier. So, all right. Let's see. Rib dib. Okay. So this is for those people filing for disability benefits. And I think I've got this section on, I've got it on the retirement section here as well. I think I've got this information on both, because rib dib is basically when you're going to file for retirement insurance benefits and you can file for disability insurance benefits, thus rib dib. Again, that's an internal thing that nobody knows about that you know about. So basically, you can file for those benefits at the same time. You're not going to get both benefits. You'll get the higher. But why people do that is, if let's say you're 62, 63, 64, and you're gonna go and file for retirement benefits, but you're also disabled, and Social Security defines disability as inability to work. And I just updated this yesterday on the disability part. This is unfortunately one of the longest parts, is the application process for disability, because there's tons of information there. So I'll try to make this a little bit more organized, but all the information is there. But if you're also disabled in the sense you're unable to work, then you can file for retirement benefits and disability benefits at the same time. And why would you do that? Is because disability, to get approved, when I was taking disability claims years ago, we used to tell people at that time, okay, you'll get a decision within 3 to 6 months. Now, even before Doge and Elon Musk came into existence, well, not into existence, but anyway, it was about 6 to 9 months, because Social Security is at a 50-year low. And now that Doge came in there and, vacated a lot of people from the agency, it's even worse. So your disability application is going to take forever to be approved, and people need money. So that's why they can file for the retirement benefits. They can file for retirement benefits and get that money coming into the house while they're waiting for their disability benefits to be decided. So that's another thing people miss, and they make their life hard for them. And what happens if you're approved for disability benefits, your benefits will go up. It'll be unreduced to a certain extent. And all the details on that, again, are on the that retirement page. Okay, and here is a big one. is DIB at FRA, so disability benefits at your full retirement age. And this is on the disability one, the frequently asked questions there. If you've got any questions, ask them, and then I'll keep adding to the frequently asked questions there. What happens to disability? So your full retirement age, disability benefits at your full retirement age, what happens? You lose your disability. I did a video a few days ago where I said 500,000 people will lose their disability this year. And that's 100% true. And it's 100% awesome. It's great. Why? Because those 500,000 people reached their full retirement age. So number one, they got old. It's always good to be old, get old, because the alternative really sucks. So they made it to, 66 and 10 months, and they made it to 67. And in terms of Social Security, your check and everything stays the same, but you're free. In the sense you have no more continuing disability reviews, and you no longer have any work limitations. Once, because you're no longer on disability benefits, your disability benefits switch to regular retirement benefits. And because you're past your full retirement age, there's no limit to how much you can work. So if you want to, get a little part-time job or something, like, you don't have to worry about, whether your disability is going to stop, because it already has. All right. So those are just a few. I said I was only going to do 3, but I did a few more, a few bonuses there. I could go on and on and on and on and on. So please subscribe and like and share and all that kind of stuff. All right. So let's get into the Q&A here. And again, the Q&A is sponsored by Chapter Medicare. If you need any help with Medicare supplements, Part D, Medicare Advantage, anything like that, reach out to them. They sponsor this, so we can do all this stuff for free. Let's see here. Get some questions. Let's see. Richard, I make $27,000 a year and turn 62 next year. Should I sign up as soon as possible? I also have 0 retirement savings. So if you're going to continue working at 27,000, then they're going to hold back $1 for every $2 you go over that limit, the 23,400. But remember, they can switch to the monthly earnings limit. So when you turn 62 next year, remember that you have to be 62 the entire month. So you have to be 62 the entire month. So if your birthday is in that month, and other than the first, then you're not 62 the entire month. So you have to start the next month. So when you start your benefits, if you're going to be under, for this year, it's the $1,950. Next year, it'll probably, 2,000 and some change or something. But yeah, at that time, maybe you could, cut back your work a little bit, or, whatever the case may be. So you definitely can. But if you continue at the 27,000, and we don't know what's going to be for next year. This year, again, it's a 23,400. Next year, it'll probably be 25,000 or so for the year. So you might be good, unless you get a big raise or something. Can I still work and be on SSDI? Absolutely. And guess what? Go to the disability section there, working and benefits. And there's 2 ways, because the whole thing on working and disability is extremely complicated. So I've got 2 methods there. I've got a actual really long Dr. Ed's Insider Guide to SSDI work incentives is what they're called. So it goes into the trial work period, the extended period of eligibility, all that kind of stuff. And then also got a little calculator there too. So it tells you about working and receiving disability benefits. Super long story short, absolutely you can. Lisa, hello, Dr. Ed. Hey, what's up? Please post your website so we can go on to it. I'll type it in the remark in the chat too. So www.mygovexpert. I can't see what I'm typing there. Expert.com. So I missed a W there. Let me type it again. www. I don't think you need to do www anymore. But anyway, MyGov. I'm a Luddite. So yeah, I'm terrible at technology. So, okay, there we go. I think I did it right this time. Let's see here. Move back up. Let me get some, is it best to take, I missed the question. Is it best to take Social Security at 62, full retirement age, or wait until 70 and a half? Doc, there is no best. It is the only what is best for you. And that's why I did go onto my website, the MyGov expert. Here, let me type it in. I'm also doing TikTok here, mygovexpert.com. Go into the website there. And you click on the retirement and then when to start. And it has a whole section on when to start, what to think about. If you change your mind, this is what a lot of people miss. If you go ahead and start your benefits because you need the money or you're out of work or something like that, and then you get tired of being retired like I did after about a week, or if you get a job that you're going to be over, you can withdraw your application. Within 12 months, you withdraw the application. You have to pay all the money back because you're essentially withdrawing the application like it never happened. And then you can restart your benefits later. It's no issue whatsoever. So let's see. Tanya, I'm turning 62 in November of this year. I'm on SSDI and was told that my benefit amount would not change if I claim retirement at the legal age. So can I claim at 62? The legal age, what are you, 18? Or less, West Virginia, the legal age is what, 12? Anyway, yeah, no. I don't know what you mean by legal age. If you mean your full retirement age, which is not 62, that is correct. If you start your retirement benefits at full retirement age, which you will automatically, then your benefits stay the same. But if you decide to take your benefits at 62, you're going to get 30% less. So don't do anything except for when you receive SSDI and you turn 62, you're entitled to any spouse benefits on top of your disability benefits. And that's another thing people miss, is you can get disability benefits and get surviving spouse benefits, divorce spouse benefits, all the rest of it. One offsets the other, but you can get those benefits. TEC, good day, Ed. Will your website guesstimate your earnings if you wait until FRA, as well as delayed retirement credits, delayed retirement benefits? Apologize if I use the wrong acronym. No, you're good. Yeah, DRCs, delayed retirement credits, as they're called. Yes, but you have to know the PIA. And I'm working on a thing where you can actually manually put in all your earnings throughout your life. And then it'll calculate what your PIA is. That's your primary insurance amount. That's the number everything goes off of. So if your PIA is $1,000 and you want to start your benefits at 62, then your benefit amount is going to be $700. That's easy, 30% reduction. If your PIA is $1,000 and you wait until 70 and get those max delayed retirement credits, 24% is added on there. So your benefit amount is going to be $1,240. So, but yes, the calculator does all that for you. Larry went to local Social Security office in New Bedford, saw Miss Christine, Mr. George, and got the problem solved. Spousal support, SSI until caught up, all waived overpayment thanks to you and your son. Oh, awesome. So yeah, I think you were here yesterday, a couple days ago, and you said Bedford, they were, I think they said they treated you okay, but yeah, they didn't give you the right information. But all right. So again, Larry, awesome. But remember, the reason you found this channel in the beginning, because all the people liked and subscribed and shared and stuff like that. And yeah, the information doesn't help if we don't get it out there. So awesome. Awesome team, awesome community. See, we made another person's life better. So congratulations to our team out there, all those thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people. So please join our community. Shelley, married in 1994, ex-spouse said he divorced me in 2009. Haven't seen him since 2011. How can I find if he is dead to receive surviving benefits? Pretty easy. Just call Social Security and give them his name, his age, date of birth, as well as you know it, where he was born, city and state, as well as you know it, and they'll find his Social Security number, and they won't tell you. They get kind of cagey about that personal information, but here's how you get around it. Number one, in order to get surviving spouse benefits, you had to be married to the person for at least 10 years. If it was a divorce type situation, if you're still technically divorced because it was never actually divorced, he never filled out the paperwork or completed the paperwork, then I guess you're still married. So surviving, surviving spouse benefits. So you call up Social Security and say, hey, here's his information. I'm receiving benefits, or I'm 60 years old and I want to go ahead and file. So let's say you're 60 years old. You say, I want to file for surviving spouse benefits. And they will say, sorry, you can't do that. And you'll kind of read between the lines. They might even actually tell you, yeah, he ain't dead. Or if you're 62, then even if he's not passed away, then you can collect divorce spouse benefits or regular spouse benefits, and they'll look at his numbers, his primary insurance amount. They'll look at your primary insurance amount. Yours has to be less than half of his, and they won't tell you how much he receives or his benefit amount is until you actually prove that connection, provide the marriage certificate and divorce decree. But what you'll know that there's money available in there if they say, oh yeah, we need to schedule you an appointment. That means there's money there. And then once you provide the proof, then they'll tell you how much money is there. But yes. Mike, Ticket to Work program allows you to try working again and locks your SSDI for 9 months. So for work for 4 or 5 months and stop due to your disability starting up, or you stop getting SSDI after 6 months. No, it's 9 months. The trial work period is 9 months, and they're not consecutive. So you can work a month and then, take off a couple of months and then work another month. And so, 9 total months. And there's actually kind of a gray area there for a month or 2 or 3. But anyway, and then you switch to your extended period of eligibility. And I've got that in my guide and in the calculator. So let's see. Another question here. What can be done is Social Security claims my daughter. Oh, I got cut off here. My daughter received $8,000 that the Treasury never cut. All right. So the only way that would affect anything is if your daughter was on SSI. Other than that, Social Security doesn't care in that respect. So if your daughter's on SSI and Social Security says, hey, according to our internal records, Department of Treasury sent her, $8,000. And if you didn't get it, you have to provide proof that the Department of Treasury is wrong, unfortunately. So you can, if you've already got the decision letter, then you can file reconsideration, SSA 561, super easy form to fill out. You just fill that out and says, no, that's incorrect. It was to another daughter. They never received it. They took it back, or whatever the case may be. So, Deborah, hello. I need to apply for my disability, but my husband gets SSI. So does that affect my income? No, that does not affect your income at all. Your income just might affect his income, because SSI is a welfare-based benefit. So if y'all are living together in the same household and all that stuff, then any money coming into the house will affect his welfare type benefits. So there's that. But yeah, if you're disabled, then definitely file for those benefits. Ron, my spouse is 62 on SSDI. I just retired. If my wife claims on my account, will she lose her Medicare? That is one of the most common misunderstandings, and why a lot of people are another reason people are missing money out there, because they think that. So your wife is probably saying, yeah, I could file for benefits on your record and I'll get some extra money, but then I'll lose my Medicare because I'm not 65 yet, because I'll switch from disability benefits to regular spouse benefits. And because I'm not on disability, I'll lose my Medicare. All of that is wrong. If you go ahead and file for benefits and her benefit amount is less than half of your full benefit amount, she can file for spouse benefits on top of her disability benefit. So she will continue to get disability benefits and she'll get spouse benefits on you. One offsets the other. She doesn't get the 2 full checks. One offsets the other. But because underneath she's still on disability, her Medicare will still continue. So no problem whatsoever. So many people miss that. So that I think on almost every video I do a live almost every day. And I try to mention things like that every single day and trying to get that information out there, because if Ron and his wife didn't hear about that, she might not go get that extra money. And y'all have been losing, hundreds of dollars every month. Yeah. And so now you won't. So it's a beautiful thing. When will overpayments go away? I will not get my full benefit of until 2030, paying back because I worked. I started collecting at 62, now 67. Overpayments will go away and when they're paid off, or you renegotiate something else. So if you set up some type of payment plan to pay it off, then that will continue until it's paid off. Unless something happens to where, let's say you have a deal to pay it off, $500 a month or something. And then you lose your job or lose this or whatever the case may be, and you can't, pay $500 a month again, then you can go in there and renegotiate and say, hey, I can't do 500. I could do maybe 50 or something like that. Or if everything goes terrible, then, you can ask for a waiver again and say, hey, when I originally, asked for the waiver, I met, one of the hurdles, because to get an overpayment waived, you have to jump over two hurdles. One, it's not your fault. And then two, you don't have the ability to repay it, even, $10 a month. So maybe when you set up that payment plan, you're arguing that maybe it wasn't your fault or was your fault, whatever the case may be. But at that time you had the ability to repay, but maybe things have changed now that you don't, and maybe they can waive it. But other than that, they will always be there, unfortunately. And the current administration, the current DOJ at Social Security is changing that. They've changed that policy 3 times in the last month, where they said we're going to hold back 10%. Then they said they're going to hold back 100%. Now they're back to holding back 50% for new overpayments going forward. So they don't know what they're doing. So GC, I'll be 70 tomorrow. Congratulations. Happy birthday. My son and I receive Social Security survivor benefits from my husband and Medicare. My autistic son is 43. Is this all there is for us? In terms of survivor benefits, it definitely sounds like it. So you're receiving survivor benefits. He's receiving survivor benefits. You're both receiving 75%, up to 75%. Since you're turning 70, make sure you contact Social Security and see if your benefits on your own record are more than the survivor benefits. That's number one. Number two is there's anything else out there. Were you married to anybody else that might have a higher benefit amount? Or you can also go to the description of my YouTube channel, and there's a video I posted there on living on Social Security alone. And I go through about 50 different programs that might be good for you. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, a pen and a piece of paper, and watch that video. It's listed as living on Social Security alone. It's in this video. I think I started putting it in all my videos. But it's in this video in the description. It says living on Social Security alone. So check that out. And hopefully something in there makes you and your son's life a bit better. Douglas, when I get my SSDI award letter, can I send it to my old pension fund for additional benefits? That really depends on that's a private pension, whether they consider the Social Security's determination. I have no idea about that one. That's a private company. And how much dollars can you get now? And I'll bet you will lose dollars by waiting. It really depends. Will you lose dollars by waiting? Not if you live to, ripe old age. So that's the trade-off. If you need the money now, get the money now. If other people are waiting for you to start your benefits, like children or spouses or something like that, might be a good idea to get your benefits now. If you're working, making over the annual earnings limit substantially, wait. If you're super healthy and you've got really good genes, you might want to wait till 70. So nobody can answer that question for you until they ask you a whole bunch of questions, and then still question you have to answer yourself. Robin, I am 64 and on SSDI. My ex will be 65 in August. He still works and not collecting Social Security. We were married 14 years. I have not remarried. When can I collect under his Social Security and get full benefits? Full benefits, the full 50% at your full retirement age. But you can get benefits now. It doesn't matter if he's filed. That's what I talked about, the independently entitled divorced spouse benefits. But if you are Receiving benefits on your own record, there's a thing called deemed filing where you might have to file for those benefits. There's kind of a gray area there. Social Security often doesn't catch that, but yeah. So if you want to wait till your full retirement age to start those benefits, they might tell you at that time, oh, you should have started, at 62, and they might take you back till 62 or something like that. Often they miss it. So that's just between you and me. So don't tell anybody else that. Maria, blessed to have Dr. Ed Weir to inform and help us. Thanks a million. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you a million. And yeah, share, save, and again, can't inform anybody until they watch. That's why I have to apologize sometime with kind of the clickbaity titles of the thumbnails and stuff like that. That all the thumbnails I do are true, 100% true, but they are kind of a little bit of hyperbolic, but that's what you got to do in this YouTube, TikTok, social media world to get through all the clutter. So I'm 65 years old on SSDI. We need to get the information out there, right? Okay, 65 on SSDI, been divorced 17 years, was married 9 years, never remarried. Ex is 71 and has Social Security more than double my SSDI. Can I appeal 10-year marriage rule to get benefits on my ex's record? Yes, you can appeal, but 100% you will be denied. So this is America. You can appeal. You can file a lawsuit for anything. So you can appeal that. You can submit the paperwork, but 100% it will be denied because that's the regulation. There is no gray area there. The only exception is there's 20,000 pages of Social Security policy. So there's exceptions. The only one is you can be married to someone for 5 years, divorce that person, and as long as you remarry that same exact person by the end of the next calendar years and then married another at least 5 years, Social Security can add those two periods together, the 5 years and the 5 years, but that doesn't apply to you, so that means nothing to you. But no, you will be denied. So changes. Dr. Weir is a champion for the Social Security community. Folks, we need him in Congress. He's resistant, but maybe we can convince him. Yeah, I think I'd be a terrible politician. So yeah. My mouth will get me in trouble. Need to get a real ID to get my government account. I have to show Social Security card of my husband's last name. He died in 2000. Will requesting a Social Security and his name be a problem? I have been on since 2015. Yeah, in terms of Social Security, Christine Nome, the leader of the Homeland Security, she made a video that says, hey, if you want to get on a plane or go into a federal building, you'll need the real ID. And she's wrong. She's partly right, but Social Security buildings are federal buildings, but you do not need a real ID to get into Social Security buildings right now. As of 5/16 at 3:38 p.m. West Coast time. Yeah, things are changing on a daily basis, but as of right now, you don't need a real ID. You might need it for some other reason. Okay, if you need it for whatever other reason, so it sounds like your Social Security card, you never changed your name. You got married and never changed your name, or you got divorced and never changed your name back, or something like that. You can, yeah, no problem. You just download a SS5. It's a Social Security card application, and you're like, I don't need an application for a Social Security card. Well, that's what it is. When you change your name, you're requesting a new Social Security card with the new name. So it's going to be the same Social Security number and everything like that. It's just you have to provide a linkage between the name you're currently using and the name you want to switch it to, like a marriage certificate, divorce decree, whatever the case may be. And then Social Security can change your name on your Social Security card, which will update all your other records, Medicare and all the rest of it, notify the IRS. So, but if you don't need it for a real ID and you've been receiving Social Security since 2015, then don't need it. You're good in every other way. So if my husband applies for spousal benefits on my account, will my benefit amount change? Thank you. You're really helping all who listen. Oh, you're welcome, Catherine. No, it does not affect your benefits whatsoever. And so it's a spouse's benefit amount is based on the other spouse's full benefit amount, and it doesn't affect theirs at all. And this is not for you, but if you're divorced and your ex got remarried, it won't affect the new spouses or the new children or anything like that. Yeah, could you imagine if that that affected the new wife or the new husband or something like that? Yeah, there'd be so many issues out there. But no, it doesn't affect the other one. I meant railroad retirement, a totally different nightmare. Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, railroad retirement. That's a whole different nightmare. When you call Social Security and you mention the words railroad, then everybody, rolls their eyes and like, oh God, railroad. Because they have a whole different system and they've been around essentially longer than Social Security. Railroad used to, control the country. So they've got a different system. So if you mention the words railroad, then what happens is the claim specialist that's helping you, they will call the railroad board. Ours was in Mesa, Arizona, or the regional one, and we would ask them, "Hey, we've got GC here. She is asking questions about retirement benefits. Is it our jurisdiction or is it your jurisdiction?" And they will say, "Oh, she's ours." So we would say, "You have to call the railroad board." Or if they say, "Nope, she's all yours," then we would take care of you, no problem. So, as a divorced spouse who takes their own Social Security at 62, then at their FRA, file for ex-spouse benefits, will get a reduction on their spouse benefits because they took their own benefit early. No. Once you get benefits on your own record, then that's what it is. It's set. But once you file for spouse benefits, you'll get up to 50% of that benefit. But maybe what you're thinking about is what a lot of people miss. And guess what? I've got a calculator you go into the family benefits there, the spouse benefits, and it gives you that spouse benefit calculator and it explains it for you. Yeah, and it's a lot of people miss this. So let me see if I can explain it in an easy way. You file for benefits on your own record. Let's say your full benefit amount is $1,000. Okay, but you take it early, so you get $800. So when you file for spouse benefits, they look at that $1,000. So if your spouse is $3,000, then you get up to half of that. It's $1,500. So you get up to $1,500. So you don't get $1,500, you get $500 because your full benefit amount is $1,000. So 1,500 minus 1,000 is $500 plus your 800. So you're actually missing that $200 there. Yeah, a lot of people miss that, but you can go into the calculator there at mygovexpert.com and do the little calculations. And I think I've got I think that's the example I used to explain it a little bit better. But if it's still the explanation in the calculator doesn't explain it as well, then let me know and I'll redo it. I went to your website and was unable to subscribe. Oh, I know my guy is working on. It's working now. I noticed that today, a few hours ago. The subscribe button, the donate button, and let me see if it's working now. You push the button and nothing happens. Okay, thank you for letting me know. So let me see if the other buttons happen. Okay, the donate button. Wow, that wasn't on purpose. The share your thought button works, but the subscribe button doesn't. Okay, all right. Thanks for letting me know. We'll get right on that. Subscribe button doesn't work. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Appreciate it. I'll get that fixed hopefully by the next couple of days. Best to keep your all right. Trade to thrive. I was disabled in a back surgery mishap. Wow. Been denied once for disability and now have a lawyer and in reconsideration. Any recommendations? No, hopefully you got a good lawyer there. The reconsideration is super, super easy. It's just one page, the 561 and, the 3441, if you've got any more information to pass on. But yeah, so what happens at the reconsideration phase is they send that back up to DDS, the Disability Determination Service, and someone else looks at it to see if they made the correct decision. If you did it yourself, I would recommend, a few weeks after you've submitted it to your local Social Security office. By that time, it should have been sent up to the state agency that makes the medical determination. And at that time, I kind of recommend people to kind of reach out to the DDS in your state and say, hey, I just want to confirm my case got up there, and they will give you the examiner. They'll let you talk to the examiner, hopefully, if there's still an employee there, because they've been run out of the agency too. They'll let you talk to the examiner. You're gonna say, hey, I send it up there, and so if you need anything, just let me know, and I can go do this and I'll do that. And just kind of touch base and put a human face on it, and that might help. But if you got a lawyer, maybe the lawyer doesn't. I would ask your lawyer if that would help. So. Never realized how many do not understand how Social Security works. Head scratching and whine about not getting enough. Well, it takes, there's a company out there, an educational institution that you can take a 2-day seminar and they teach you all about Social Security, and they give you a cute little diploma so you can go out there and cause chaos and havoc because you don't know what's, So Steph, what are the calculations for DIB after RIB? Are you familiar with the calculations? Are you familiar with the difference between the calculations and the family max on their survivor benefits versus disability benefits, and does child and care benefits count in terms of surviving spouse? And what about proof of age? If a person doesn't have a proof of age, what are the type of preponderance of evidence? So there's 20,000 pages of that. So don't discount people. There's a lot more than just Social Security, retirement benefits, and Social Security cards. So you haven't picked up on that yet. Ed, in the IRMA calculation of income, is Social Security included in the 106,000? Cheers. No, I've got and my website, there I have an entire IRMA section as well. So it's basically, any other type of income you got coming in there. So let's see. All of that 23,400 or monthly is too confusing. That's why I waited for full retirement age. That way I can make as much money as I want and do not worry about penalties. Yeah. If you're able to wait, then absolutely. So you don't have to worry about that. Let's see. I will be 62 in September. Do I need to file something? I'm still working. I want to continue to work. No, if you don't want to start your Social Security benefits at 62, you don't have to do anything. No, you're good. If later on, if you're 63, 64, if you want to file, then you can file at that time. If you reach 65 and you have health insurance from work, and your employer has 20 or more employees, or 100 if it's a large corporation, you're happy with it, then you don't even have to sign up for Medicare. Not an issue whatsoever. So you don't even have to contact Social Security and tell them, oh, yeah, I've got health insurance for work. I have creditable coverage. I don't need anything. You don't need to call them up and tell them that either. So Pamela, it does look like I'm entitled to more, but I already asked and they said no, yet I have a printout from a third party that says they owe me thousands. Yeah, I'm not sure the third party. Let's see. Anyone have issues logging into Social Security? It wouldn't accept my saved credentials. I know the computer system has gone down more in the last month or so than it has in long time. So maybe it's just down or something. So not sure. DC, I'm on SSDI and waiting on state Medicaid to connect with SSDI so I can get to see a doctor. Now we may lose Medicaid. So reach out to your politicians and say, hey, we shouldn't lose it. Shouldn't cut back, because they're not doing a frontal assault. They're saying, oh, we're going to, make it more efficient and we're going to get these, dead beats off and stuff like that. But then they put all kinds of hurdles and, it's, collateral damage, unfortunately. Just like Social Security. They're not cutting Social Security. They're just blocking your access to it. And Yeah. So, but so you're waiting on set of Medicaid. So if you do get Medicaid and Medicare, remember you just might be eligible for some extra money there. Those, those scammy grocery cards that you see advertised, they're actually not scammy. They do actually exist. The way they advertised are scammy, but you can reach out to chapter there and they can see while you're waiting, at least they can give you some options. And that way, when your Medicaid starts, you immediately, if you're able to get one of those Medicare Advantage dual eligible plans and maybe get some extra benefits and some extra money to get your make your life easier. But you can reach out to chapter and 100% free. They can see what's available in your neck of the woods. I am 60, qualify for Social Security, 1,100 on my record. I will be 62. My husband's 71, gets 1,700 a month and gets a pension for $2. Do I need to file on myself? Then can I qualify under his record? You have to file for benefits on your own record first. And then, right now it looks as though with those numbers, if those are the PIA, then you're not eligible for benefits on his record. But I'm 60, qualify for, okay, you have to be 62, number one, because he's still out there. So you have to be 62 years old, and don't look at those numbers. That's another way people lose money. That's another one of the 400 things I could have talked about today, that what people leave money on the table is that people look at the wrong numbers. When they look at the spouse benefits, they look at, hey, Bob sitting next there in the next chair in the living room, how much your benefit amount? Oh, it's 1,700. Well, mine's 1,100. So I guess mine is not less than half of yours. So I can't get any money. No, you don't look at those numbers. That's called your MBA, your monthly benefit amount. That's actually how much your check is. You might have been reduced, receiving Medicare benefits, or, paying for Medicare Part B or whatever the case may be. That's not the number you look at. That's not the number Social Security looks at. They look at the PIA, the primary insurance amount. So maybe he's receiving 1,700, but maybe because he filed at 62 years old, maybe his benefit amount is 2,500. And if that's the case, you just might be able to get benefits. So you have to look at the correct numbers. So let's see here. I'm jumping around here. I apologize if I skipped your question, but the questions kind of fly up here. There's so many of them. I currently receive spousal SSI. That's not SSI is the welfare benefit. You mean spousal Social Security. Okay. I'll delete the I there. But I received a letter stating that I should file on my own. They stated that I would receive more. Will there be a lapse in my current income while I'm waiting? Okay. So you're receiving surviving spouse benefits. And so you're received, that sounds like it's the WIB-RIB letter, that you're receiving surviving spouse benefits and your benefits on your own record have increased to more. So you can decide to go ahead so let's say you're 67 years old and your benefit on your own is more. You can choose to take that extra money, or you can choose to, stay, like playing, blackjack. And because those benefits on your own record will continue to decrease every single month until you hit 70 years old. So you can take it now, or you can wait till 70 for even more money. So that's completely up to you. Sadi, I was born December 1959. What's my actual retirement age? I'm on Social Security disability now. Funny you should ask that. It really depends on I've got a full retirement age calculator on my website. And okay, there it is. Okay. So if you go into my website, so again, the retirement tab there, go into overview, understanding your benefits, and then you calculate. So let's say you said you were born in December, let's say the 5th. Doesn't matter unless it was the 1st, then 1959. And then you calculate your full retirement age, and there it is right there. Your full retirement age is 66 and 10 months. Then that will be November 2026. And the difference is if you put the 1st, Social Security always considers you attain that age the month before. So November 2026. and that switches it to August of 2026, because it considers you back, and then you're 66 and 8 months. So nice little calculator there, and that's in the retirement section. So let's see. I would like to know what's my retirement age if I was born. Okay, yep, just go to that calculator. Let's see. We'll do a few more questions here. I'm 63 years old, working part-time and collect survivor benefits. It's hard to work. Can I apply for disability? Do I need a doctor's note? So if you file for disability because you're 63, you're going to be filing for benefits on your own record. So is your own record going to be more than survivor benefits? If it is, then go for it. But if not, then it's not going to get you anything more. It could. Well, you're 63 years old. The only thing I'm thinking about is if you file for disability benefits, you'll get your Medicare early. But it depends when your disability. If you file for disability and they determine your disability began a year ago, then your Medicare will start at 64 years old. But if they determine your disability started at 63, you'll get Medicare at 65, and you're already going to get Medicare at 65. So Medicare is not an issue. It sounds like it depends when you became disabled. But I would, if you file for disability, you're going to be filing for disability on your own record. So if it's more, then go for it. If not, then it's probably not going to be any. I don't see any advantage there. Will Social Security benefits get higher if you are not receiving SSDI on your own record, even if you don't work? No, the only way is COLA. So your benefits increase like that year over year if by COLA, or if you work and pay more into Social Security. Yes, then you'll get, again, one of the high 35 years. So first thing I did was bookmark the website. Cheers, Michael from Albuquerque. Hey, Michael, how you been? Yeah, thank you. And that's going to update on a regular basis. And then I might even get the subscribe button to work today. I got copies of work earnings per your suggestion, a copy of all the records that went into making a decision on my SSDI would cost $82 for a CD. Do you recommend that I get that too? They really shouldn't be charging you for your own, if needed for a third party or something like that. I would say, hey, this is for my own kind of use. This is not for something else. I want to review my own records. They really shouldn't be charging you for that. Yeah. I have to check out the policy and see if they change that, but yeah, they shouldn't be charging you for your own records. I know if one of the things they're a little bit touchy about is for people that receive disability benefits, not for a physical disability, but for psychological and mental disability. Sometimes the doctors say, hey, here's the person's medical record, but don't release it to that person because there's internal notes and stuff like that, and would affect the relationship or whatever the case may be. So I know Social Security, the people are kind of edgy or kind of paranoid about providing that type of stuff. But if that's not an issue, I don't think they should charge you. That's in my office. Yeah. If you wanted your own records, they're your records. We didn't charge people. But if a lawyer requested it, or a workers' comp, or, you, gave Social Security permission, there was a authorization, a HIPAA release form in there that you wanted us to provide, the medical records to this doctor or workers' comp or lawyer or something like that, then we would charge for it. But you're asking for it for yourself. That, I don't think should be charged. So became a member. Thank you. Became a silver member. Awesome. Thank you. And then you can also become a member through the website there, donate and give it just a couple of dollars one time for a coffee or a beer, one beer weir, or on a monthly basis, a few bucks. It'd be appreciated. All right. We are at an hour, and as usual, I've got way too many questions. Let me jump down and get a couple that I don't recognize. I don't recognize Camilla. Can you tell me why I can't keep my Medicaid as have Medicare and yada, yada, yada to keep my dual complete? So, yeah, I guess your state that you're in are deciding that you're no longer eligible for Medicaid, or they're downgrading your Medicaid and therefore you're losing your dual plan, your Medicare Advantage dual complete plan. Yeah. So if you disagree with it, as with any government, you have appeal right. So you can reach out to Medicaid and say, hey, I disagree that, my Medicaid should stop. My Medicaid should not stop. So I would appeal it. But if they're going to stop it, you're going to lose your your dual complete plan. Then you need to find another plan, because what happens if you don't switch to another plan, then you've essentially lost that protection. So you can reach out to chapter and they can see if they can help you keep it or switch you to something else if they can't. So. All right, this will be the last question. C. Walton. I received a letter from Social Security 3 weeks ago stating that I would receive a $750 overpayment or $750 payment on May 10th for Medicare premiums refund. And starting June 3rd, my monthly payments would increase by $600. Oh, okay. Yep. So that is IRMA. Well, I'm almost sure it's IRMA. Unless you receive Medicaid. No, that wouldn't be right, because they said your monthly benefits are going to increase by 600. So if it was Medicaid issue, then your monthly benefits would increase by $185. But your monthly benefits are going to increase by 600. So almost 99.999% sure that that's an IRMA, that they made an IRMA determination that you made over 106,000 or 212,000 2 years ago, or if you're married. And then you fought that, you submitted the SSA 44 and said, no, I have a life-changing event, yada, yada, yada. And they said, yes, you do. And they're giving you all that money back, since January, and they're increasing your benefits. That sounds like a plausible, that I can't think of anything else it would be. That's got to be an IRMA type thing. So, but that's a beautiful thing. So, all right. The last one is you are full of baloney. You are what you eat. My family was poor when we were younger, so yes, bologna sandwiches. Yes, white Wonder Bread, bologna, and mustard, salt, and pepper. You had to cut the bologna a little bit on each side so it wouldn't all shrivel up and stuff like that. So, yes. So those of you who lived in a poor family growing up, you know about the bologna sandwiches. So, all right, y'all have an